Hey there, hope you're having a great week. For this week's video, I am planning to do a bit of planning in my weekly section, just setting up my weekly section a little bit. This is on a Sunday, and I hope you enjoy it. So first things first, I'm going to try a little bit of color coding this week because I have a lot going on. So I am going to write down which pens I'm using or rather which pen I'm using for the gel pen, and then which inks I'm using for the fountain pens, just so that if I run out of ink, I know what to refill. And then after that, I'm going to move on to actually setting up the rest of this. So I'm using my uniball as usual, and then after that I am also going to use my Twisby Eco. This is the extra fine, and I'm using Pelikan Edelstein Olivine in this. It's a year of, I can't remember which year this ink came out. I think it might have been pre-COVID. And then my last ink is Kobe Alisan Green. So this one is in a Kakuno that I got a while back, but basically because an A6 is so small, I kind of want to use smaller pens. So you may notice that there is a sheet of craft paper stuck on the page, and that's basically because I wrote some stuff there in advance previously, but I decided that it doesn't quite work out, so I stuck something over. And honestly, at this point, I'm considering that maybe it's not the best idea to how do you put this? It may not be the best idea to write things that far in advance in pen, because I keep on having to cover things up. So that's definitely something that I need to keep in mind, perhaps for future weeks. But once I come back to Japan, come back from Japan, I mean. So one thing that comes up with paper planners is, why even bother with them? Like, why handwrite over using something digital? And that's something that I feel is maybe appropriate to discuss today, because it's handwriting day on the 23rd, so just around the corner. And for me personally, I feel that handwriting things works better for my brain. It also forces you to slow down and be more intentional and more, I guess, mindful of what you're putting down, instead of, and it kind of helps when you're feeling very, in my case, when I'm feeling very overwhelmed by a lot of things, like actually sitting down and writing out all the things I need to do helps me organize my thoughts more than it would if I typed. I definitely type faster than I write, so if I'm typing, sometimes my brain still goes really fast, whereas if I am writing, I am forced to slow down. And part of it is also that when I'm writing, I want to keep it neat, so that forces me to slow down even more, which kind of brings me into the next bit, which is, I guess, how do you handwrite? How do you keep it, aesthetic, I guess? So stylistically with handwriting, I feel like there are a lot of options. For me, I pretty much use what is my natural handwriting most of the time. Just that when you see it in my planner, it's the neat version where I am writing slowly. Though most videos you see do have a certain amount of, like, I speed it up by maybe like 50% or like 100%, just so that we're not watching me write like a snail all the time. But yeah, so for me, I keep to my natural handwriting, just that I go slow. But I feel that when it comes to handwriting, if you want to keep it, I guess, consistent or like improve it, part of it is just really practicing. The other part of it is not actually slowing down. So it's kind of, I guess I have a lot of practice with that when it comes to calligraphy, so that helps. But this is definitely my neat handwriting, not my messy handwriting. I do have a fairly messy hand if I am in a rush, and that's why I very rarely use my planners in that sort of situation. But yes, so when it comes to regular writing, I would say that when you want it to look nice, having everything look consistent helps. So most of my writing takes place, it happens on a slant, so that's my natural handwriting, and it's just slanted, compacted, and fairly consistent, which is why, like, generally, if you look at it, I don't know, for me personally, when I look at it like that, it looks very satisfying, it looks very neat and tidy, but individually, actually, it can get quite messy, but because a lot of the time when people look at your stuff, they're not looking into the details, so it still looks very nice. So you are probably more critical of your own handwriting than anybody else. So, take some comfort in that, I guess, if you feel that your handwriting is ungood. There's no such thing as ungood. As long as you can read it, that's all that matters. Unless somebody else is supposed to read it, then, that's a different story. But I feel like for me, when it comes to handwriting, it's about what I feel comfortable writing at all times. Definitely, I could stand to learn like a new sort of script for writing, and I do learn new scripts for writing when it comes to calligraphy, and it does translate a little bit because I do borrow some elements here and there. But I did go through a phase when I was like, I think 10 or 11, and basically I wanted to write like the Lord of the Rings script, like not Elvish, but like the font that they use for the Lord of the Rings, like the title font. So I basically copied the font for a lot of things. I mean, I was like a little nerd at like 10 or 11, and I mean, if I could do that at 10 or 11, you could do that too. But I personally find now that writing that way is not efficient, because I consciously have to think about writing that way, and it's not smooth, so it doesn't just like flow off the pen that easily because it's printed, whereas like my normal handwriting is closer to, it's still print, but like it is somewhere between print and cursive, so if I'm going slightly faster, I still can write quite fast. So I personally prefer that, but you can definitely copy fonts from places and turn that into, and adapt that to your own handwriting. So definitely something to consider if you're not happy with your current style. Another thing that you can consider learning is just learning cursive or learning Spencerian, Spencerian is both a handwriting and a calligraphy font, not font, typeface, or style of writing. So you could do the handwriting version without all the pressure controls that come with doing Spencerian with a dip pen. So if you're looking at that, it can get a little bit confusing, but yeah, that's something you can definitely consider. And practice, basically. When it comes to all this, it just comes down to practice. And I would say that probably why I am so comfortable with my handwriting is because I've been keeping a long form journal since I was 9 or 10. I have all my journals since I was 9 or 10 until today. So those I will never put on camera, honestly speaking, because they're just like all my random ranty thoughts, like since I was a child. So it's a bit strange to, it'll be a bit strange to show them off. But yeah, I have written journals for that long, so it does lend itself to a certain comfort with handwriting stuff. And of course, when it comes to planners, we would talk about lettering and calligraphy to a certain extent as well. So lettering and calligraphy is kind of my wheelhouse. I do still incorporate it into my planners here and there. You may not have seen it that much simply because I am using an A6 these days and I'm trying to keep things simple, so it's not it doesn't make an appearance that often, but I might use it a bit more when it comes to the weeklies in the months to come. We shall see. In any case, for this area here where I put the craft paper, I decided to do a countdown to my drip pen trip. So on this week is like the nine more days, 8 more days, all the way to 3 more days before the trip. So I'm just gonna do a kind of like bubble 3D font something with numbers just as a countdown here. And honestly, this doesn't require any I wasn't taught how to do this exactly. I kind of just winged it. It's not my best work, and my shadows are totally in the wrong place, but I know that, so at least I am aware of doing that. When it comes to lettering and calligraphy, you can definitely teach yourself. I started out self-taught myself back in 2016. There are lots of books, there are lots of websites, there are lots of free resources online that you can try, Skillshare, YouTube videos, just to name a few, that you can basically get a feel of it and see whether you like it or not. Of course, there are courses that you can take. There are probably workshops in your area that you can take that do cost money, and those can be quite high. But I will say that they're not overcharging, or at least not all of them are overcharging, because depending on the instructor, if you really vibe with them and their teaching style, you can really learn a lot more from an instructor than, well, a free resource online. But that being said, I can understand why you may not want to drop $200, $300, $500 on a course for, something that you're uncertain about. So definitely check out free resources first. I do have a free resource for starting out with brush calligraphy, so I will link that in the description below. And then there also, if you're looking to start for something inexpensive to start with, and you want a bit of guidance, there are also like workbooks and stuff. So some of these are printable. I sell printable ones as well. If you've watched like my videos from earlier this year, you'll know I'm running a discontinuation sale, because I am just taking a break from all this, and I kind of want to, not the planner videos, but the lettering business side of things. I want to pivot a bit, decide where I want to go from here. So I am running a bit of a discontinuation archive sale for my lettering workbooks. So if that's something that sounds like you might be interested in, I am also going to link it in the description below. Basically, it covers the entire alphabet, and then you get they're 2 different sizes, and they're going for less than half price right now. I used to sell them at $27 per book, per printable book. So basically, you can print it as many times as you want for personal use. And now there are, I think, 13. Yeah, so I have them listed now for 13 for this, if you're buying one size. If you're buying both sizes, they are 19 for both. So honestly, it's a massive discount. So definitely something you can consider if you want. But okay, I'm gonna stop plugging myself here. When it comes to handwriting, I don't know, it's just very satisfying to see everything actually handwritten. And it just, to me, I feel like it helps with slowing down your brain, and just generally helping you be more mindful of everything. So lots and lots and lots of online resources. I'll link some of my favorites below as well, and yeah, you can check them out, and I hope that it helps you along your planner journey. So that's about it for me this week. I think I will see you next week for another video. Have a good week. Bye.